Had to change some things. Never ending. Stay tuned. Hey everybody. This truck has taken another turn. Things had to be changed. So I took it out for 2 test runs. And I was actually going to go test and film today to see if this changed anything. But it's pouring with rain. So, welcome to the West Coast in Canada. Well, at least Victoria. It rains a lot here. So, I'll admit it. Zoku, you were right. At least, I'm not changing the wheelbase yet. Not going that far. The front of the truck is starting to get a lot more cut out, as you can kind of see here. Clearance issues, as the let's see if I can grab the 4.9 BFG Cam 3s. Great tire. I love these tires, but for this chassis being class 2, even 3, it's not the right size tire. The truck worked. Like, trust me when I say it, short wheelbase 4.19 on a Zoku flat rail chassis still worked. I was very impressed. But it struggled. Sorry if I sound a little on the sick side. Caught the kids cold. But so we'll keep these tires. We'll put them aside. I have inner fenders for this printing right now currently. That's why you hear my printer going. So I'm sorry if the printer is annoying and loud. But you can probably see it printing. Sort of. Maybe. So the inner fenders I'm using for this to fit this body, sort of. I could probably do something different. I'm using Harley Design's VRD inner fenders because they just line up perfectly with this chassis. Because realistically, this is a VRD now, just with a VFD twin, more or less, sort of. It's a straight axle VFD or straight axle VRD with a VFD twin. When you think about it, it isn't because it's a Zoku chassis, but he was the first to kind of bring that flat rail, competition frame conversion for the Phoenix. So that's what this was, and now it's crazy 6-degree skid, and trust me, like, this thing works. I am so impressed with it. I've actually been crawling with my buddy who's got Liam. He has a VRD, and that thing is insane how it crawls. Obviously this is a different sort of beast in its own way, compared to the VRD, being the way I have it set up. It has nothing to do with Zoku. I had to go and ruin things. The short wheelbase definitely is a hinder for it. Now, I could cut more of this fender out, and I could just cut straight across, do something crazy, and have the tires you know, farther back to really help that. You know, I may end up doing that. Just make this thing completely comp style. I started, I did it wrong, but I was gonna make a dovetailed bed. Bought the file to trace for the inside. It's like it's a really cool file where you buy it, you print it out, and it's basically an insert for your bed that shows you where you need to cut. I cut fenders completely out as well, thinking that, and you can see the glue, thinking that these just glue on to the insert for the bed. The template, we should say. I was so wrong, because now they were like this. So it did not. It's supposed to be, you know, straight, because this part of the fender that's like the bed part kind of gives it spaced out, and it keeps it, you know, relatively flat. But I'm gonna keep this, you know, the old BFG fenders. Not usable, but I'm gonna keep them anyway. They'll look good on the wall or something. So I did that. It failed. I did a good job. I did it wrong. Take that how you please. So then I just decided, let's sticker up this thing. Stickers and good stuff. Gotta rock NSDRC. Wherever it is on this hat. I think it's on this side. Again, best servos in my opinion. This is what I love to use. And there's actually something cool coming. So, for this truck, because there is no space, there's like a millimeter between the servo and the spur gear nut. So, definitely need to put something low profile in there. So as you can see, I've cut out a lot of the front. And I've completely... it's kind of buck-toothed now. But, you know, this is... The idea of this is it's really just a... It's a bush truck now. You know, it's what it is. It's kind of what I'm modeling it after. You know, when you see guys... They've just started hacking things up for clearance, and you know, things break, you just keep driving it. It's a trail truck, it's not going on the road, that type thing. Hate it or love it, I don't care. I also did a trade with a cool guy. He's a local, sort of. He's on the mainland, I'm on the island. It's an hour's difference, really. I did a trade, so as you can see, I've got another Mojave body. I'm not using that on this because it's a really clean body, more or less. And I've already, you know, this thing's already been cut up, so I'm just gonna keep using this. I'm just gonna keep that for something. But he had the RC four-wheel drive drivers. So Daredevil came out. He was a little too small, which was fine. And I put one of the RC four-wheel drive drivers in there. It's got a hat on. I always have a hat, so it works out. But also, we've got desert I want to say desert liquors all the time. Desert lizards. Desert lizards. Say that 10 times fast. Which actually came from, again, my buddy Liam. He wasn't using them, so he gave them to me. We put them on this. Well, by we I mean me. I had a couple bald moments, as I say, where I just was kept, you know, rubbing my head trying to figure out how these things worked, and figured it out. It's okay. It was just me not thinking. But I got them set full droop. So I've got in the shaft between after the piston, before the bottom of the actual shock itself, shock cap we'll say, there's a spring, and it's a soft spring. So tall soft spring. Then at the very top of the shock, up here, There's a medium, firmer, not quite soft, but just a little bit firmer than soft, mini spring that's at the top, so it kind of gives it that bump stop sort of effect. So that's really helping the suspension, because I had the stock VP shocks in there, and let me tell you, since those don't hold oil, although 3 were holding oil, go figure, 1 wasn't, and it was this corner, so the truck was always just constantly flopping over, and it just couldn't hold itself very well. And then, so there's it fully flexed out, and then it just goes down nice. So that solved that problem, solved the shocks. Next issue was the tires, like I started off with. So I didn't want to go 4.75, which, you know, now that I look at it, I really probably could have. You know, realistically, would have been fine. But these bodies kind of look funny with 4.75 tires on them. Like, they do, but they don't. It's weird. I don't know. If it's completely pinched and dovetailed, it looks fine. But if it's the way I have it, it looks off. The proportions are kind of off, to me at least. I'm a blind guy, who knows. So I ordered the Vanquish Yokohama Geolander XAT 4.5 inch tires. These babies are really nice. See if I can get close up there. There you go. Really good treads, really sticky. Like, these tires are going to, people think I'm crazy when I say it, but I run my fingers across to see how well the knobs grab. And every little knob and all the little slices, they're grabbing my fingers. And the truck, like, it's, I think it's gonna work good. I like them. I think they're gonna work great. And of course, well, foams. Vanquish doesn't have 4.5 dual stage foams yet. At least I didn't want to wait. So again, my buddy Liam, he's been 3D printing inserts with the TPU ones, and I've been delaying trying them. You know, I've had a lot of people tell me I need to use them, blah blah blah, and I just keep delaying it because I like foams. The foams just work. You know, I got dual stage in the Optic. I've got dual stage in the Forerunner. The Forerunner's great, and the BFGs, they did fine. Even with this build, they did great because of those dual stage foams I have in them. But the tires were too small to really make use of this chassis. So he 3D printed me a set of printed foam, or printed inserts. They're definitely a softer one. So, like, under its own weight, it definitely looks like it's running on, you know, aired down tires, which is perfectly fine. I'm good with that. You know, it is what it is. If I don't love them over time, well, I can switch to something different. That's not, you know, that's just what it is. But I need to try them so I can actually give my proper or, you know, he's running them, and his VRD, he's got a set of pins on it. J Concepts pins, I believe, or Reefs pins? I think it was Reefs pins. Cheater tires. There's a line he found where I go all the time. It just wasn't a spot that I really ever looked at. This with 4.19s made it up most of the spots, and I had to give it the hand of God on a couple other spots. 2 other spots, I believe. His VRD just climbed straight up it. Like, the pins with these inserts, I think they're the same size inserts, because he's definitely got some wiggle room in the pins, so they just grab. These inserts are perfect fit for these tires. They are soft, so you know the truck definitely lets them sit a little flat, but that's how the 4Runner is. That's how even the BFGs were on this. So, sorry. I did change a little bit of the front geometry with the steering. I put a shorter. I might go back to it if I can get away with it. But I put a shorter steering horn on it, or servo horn, we'll say. But yeah, I put a shorter one on there that I've used on a few trucks, and it just kind of gives it a little more clearance. But I think because if I look at it now, yeah, see the way it is, I could go back to the shorter one, or the longer pink one that I was using, the NSDRC pink one. But that one's going to be getting put aside because I have a servo coming, and it comes with a servo horn. So, for this truck, it's not red, which would have been nice, but it's what they had, and it's what I could do. So, or what I could get, we'll say. But that'll be another video. I also printed, with the optic, I did the Harley Designs three lever shifters, and then he has the base as well. I printed a base, and then I printed my shift levers that I designed. Very basic levers, nothing amazing. I actually did them slightly wrong, so they stick down a bit, and then of course I glue them in. So I tend to just actually glue this cluster onto one of the flat covers. So they have like the two shifter one that they come, like the VFDs and the VFD twins come with, and then there's like flat ones. So I just glued it. Same with the optic, I've just glued it onto a flat one just to make sure nothing gets, you know, broken off or just whatever. Just kind of keeps it a little better, and you're not really noticing it. Sorry. But yeah, so the truck's definitely got some good flex now. So there's the front. You know, the rear's got a good amount, and it stays planted. It wants to go back down. So it's wanting to keep weight where I think it's a good idea. I also cut the front bumper, so it's just a bull bar basically. Because with the TGH bumpers, sorry for coughing, you can get the shorties and then the long, like what this had. Being that this was originally like a class 1 build before I did this, I had the long one on the front. Same with, you can see that there's a long one in the rear. But needed help clearance. So I cut the ends of the bumper here just to help with that, like getting the nose up a little bit. I could bring this bumper in a bit more. I think I've got room to, yeah, I could go back a bit. Except I can't. No, I can't do that. It's already to where the frame is. So you can see these little notches here. See right there. Right here. So that's where the frame actually comes out. Being that this is supposed to be for a Phoenix. So the body pin goes through and it hinges, right? That was definitely a cool thing that Zoku figured out. He kept it so you could literally just cross over. Obviously we did something different. But, you know, I'm really curious now. And I think maybe cutting out just going like right across and down and just lengthening this wheelbase out might be the next step. But we're going to see how it does. Because at least now, like, I could go quite high without it being a problem because of it having some bigger tires. And I've also swapped the twin was just on 6% overdrive. Now I have it on the 21% overdrive, 30% overdrive. The straight axle, so I think it's just 21%, whatever it is. Could even be wrong on that number, but I've swapped it over to the higher overdrive, so the front wheels are now spinning much faster, and I think this thing is going to do some really good lines. But yeah, so sorry, didn't get a run video done. Should have, could have, didn't. But as soon as it dries up, I'm gonna get this out and see how it does, and I will film for that one. But yeah, I think that's it. If those finish, I will get those on. If not, whatever. Seems to be having some issues. I don't really know what's going on. I think I have to probably recalibrate the machine. But anyways, everybody, I think that's where we're going to leave it. As always, check out NSDRC scale parts. Link is in the description. They've got, in my opinion, not because I'm a team driver, because I love the product, they've got the best servos. You know, if you want a budget servo, RS500B. It is a severely underrated powered servo. You know, they're doing like what Dodge and them were doing back in the 60s. Like, I don't know, it's only got 530 ounces of torque, when it's got... This servo was doing stuff that how can I word it well? It was holding up to a 777. We'll just leave it at that. It is a really good servo, and it's easy on the wallet. And then, of course, you've got the RS800 V2, and that thing is just insane. You know, 1100 ounces of torque at 4S. This is actually 530 on 4S. I only run 3S. So that's like 900 and something. Maybe 1,000. I think it's like right around that number. This is like 400 and something at 3S. I don't have the numbers in my head. But trust me when I tell you, the 500B keeps up with the big dogs. So, and they've got great winches, internal spool, external spool, low profile servos, low profile winches, large scale servos, all the way down to nano servos. So, you know, they've got what you need. Definitely go give them a look at. Link is in the description. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and if you're interested in... I gotta recalibrate this machine. Sorry. Any and all the companies that I like to use or people that I support, and there's a much bigger list realistically, but at the end after this you'll see, you know, all the people that I like doing business with and everything, and shout outs to. And I believe all the links to them are in my description as well. So, I like to help out good people, no matter where they live. But, yeah, so that's where we're going to leave it. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.